I guess this is it. While recently working on my Miss Teen scrapbooks, which hopefully you've seen throughout the weekend, I found I was having difficulty deciding what to include and what not to include. I was no longer certain what counted as a Miss Teen event or not. Should that award ceremony be included? Should a page go towards my high school graduation? What about that college visit? After being a title holder for 2 years now, I was unsure where the small-town girl who scrubbed pizzeria fryer baskets ended and Miss Teen of America began. When I competed for Miss Teen of New York in 2008, I could have never imagined the impact this new aspect of my life would have on me. That Sunday in 2008, it just seemed so strange that I was chosen as Miss Teen of New York. I would never have anticipated it. That morning before finals, my mom told me that she had a feeling I was going to win. She knew I was going to get it, she said. I took it as mom talk and told her she was crazy. Even as I stood on stage with my first runner-up, Katie Ball, I thought to myself, what a cool story to go back to school with. How I was first runner-up to Miss Teen of New York. Weird. You see, being a pageant girl was never part of my life's plan. Like many of our candidates this weekend, I didn't grow up watching Miss America, formulating dreams of my future in the pageant world. All my Barbies went to Harvard, not pageants. And yes, on that note, my Barbie should have gone to Yale, but I was young and misguided. I've told the story many times now, but I'm going to tell it at least once more. I received my first Miss Teen of New York application when I was 14. I took a look at all the Miss Teen of Americas from the 80s with their big hair and shoulder pads and figured that the application's protest of "this is not a beauty pageant" was a big old lie. So I threw it in the trash. 2 years later, when I was 16, I walked into math class one morning to find a very familiar envelope waiting for me. It was another application. I was about to throw it in the trash once again before a very good friend, my best friend, Eileen Hayes, stopped me. Eileen had also received an application, and she tried to convince me that it was something fun we could do together in the summer. She got my mom on board, and the two of them talked me out of throwing the application in the trash for a second time. It's a really good thing they did. 2 years later, it's hard to imagine how my life would have been had I thrown that application away. It's almost scary, actually, to think of the people I would have missed out on meeting, the friends who would never have been able to become like family, the places I wouldn't have seen, and the opportunities I would have missed out on. For starters, had that application landed in the trash, I wouldn't have been able to meet all of you wonderful girls this weekend. I wouldn't have been able to meet these people you see running around backstage. I'm willing to give up Thanksgiving dinner for every year to go see at the Distinguished Youth of Texas pageant. There are directors I've traveled to the ends of the earth with and to the ends of our wits with. Amazing title holders who have become like sisters to an only child. The former Miss Teen of North Carolina, Meredith Potter, a rising sophomore at my new alma mater. There's no way I would have been headed to where I am in 1 week's time. Without this program, there's no way I would have had the resume or life experiences or overall maturity to get into that school. Had I thrown out that application, I don't know where I would be going next week. There's so many people I've been blessed to meet outside of the immediate Miss Teen family. There's my host family, the Tones, in Wagga Wagga, Australia, who taught me about drop bears and Carmela koalas. I think of the Pink Dragons, the middle school girl empowerment group I got to speak with, who reminded me of what it was like to be their age not so very long ago. And I think of Alden Malachowski, a little girl, a brave girl, who shared the name of my high school and hometown, and who I got to meet because of pure timing and serendipity. It just so happened that I was traveling to receive this national title in Austin, where her family lives, just weeks after her father contacted our school asking for support for his daughter. I only got to meet 12-year-old Alden once before she passed away from leukemia on December 13th, 2009, but she'll always live on in my heart, urging me to do her proud. As for the places I've been, places I would have never imagined going to by the time I was 18 years old. I'm a New York girl. I've always been accepting of other races and ethnicities, but as a New York girl, I think I tended to put blinders up to certain areas of our country. The South, image myself North Carolina and Georgia. Now, I run when I come across a Chick-fil-A in an airport. If I can find authentic sweet tea at a restaurant, I jump for joy. I had grits and sushi for the first time in Atlanta, and while I'm not yet a convert to either delicacy, I do now know the meaning behind bless her heart. As for our neighbors to the west, I didn't know a thing. But after spending the St. Paul's Winter Carnival with 89 pageant girls from Minnesota and Wisconsin, including Miss Corn Cob and Miss Cheese Curd, I came to have a whole new appreciation for the Midwest. And Texas, before the title, I knew about oil and politicians. I had no idea about the kind people, keeping Austin weird, Longhorn Pride, the San Antonio River Walk, or the beauty of the Alamo lit up at night. Going to Australia was a fulfillment of the dream I had had since I was 8 years old. That came about from watching Mary-Kate and Ashley's Our Lips Are Sealed in conjunction with the Sydney Olympics. To have the coat of arms lunch on the banks of the Murrumbidgee River, of kangaroo and emu, to climb to the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge as the sun was setting, to sit on a plane for 27 hours, opened my mind up to all the possibilities that my life could have. What if I had thrown the application in the trash? What if my mom and I hadn't been so insightful and hadn't stopped me? Back when I was 16, I never thought I would be a title holder. Standing before you now as an 18-year-old heading off to college in a week, I can't imagine my life without it. The title is nice, but the experiences I've been able to have with this program have become an intricate part of my foundation as a person. I see the world differently than I did 2 years ago. I view myself differently. I don't have an on-off switch for when I'm in Miss Teen mode or not. It's become a part of my character. I hope that's something all of the candidates take with them after today's ceremony. There will be one Miss Teen of New York. There can only be one. But it could have been any of you. You may not leave this building today with a banner, but I hope you leave with a different view of yourself and your abilities. You don't need a fancy title to meet amazing people and to have life-changing experiences. You just have to have confidence in yourself and a desire to do some amazing things with your life. To be here, right now, you've already proven you're capable of that. And to the girl who will take my place in a few minutes, I hope she takes the fullest advantage of the opportunities presented to her. It can change your life. And remember, I was the first Miss Teen of New York to become Miss Teen of America, but I will not be the last. Thank you all.
In this program. And she's also been a great friend.